What's
This
up?
meeting is being recorded.
Morning.
How's it going? How is did you talk to the seller from a couple days ago? Just getting the information? Because I know you're waiting on that, right?
Me?
Yeah.
No, she hasn't contacted me again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna text her though, see like if she went through with the supposedly offer that she got.
Nate and Carly, you guys should be a co-host now.
What was that?
You guys should be co-host now. Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
anyone? Let me get my mic in. And it's recording. Okay. Awesome. How are y'all doing today? Excited?
Good. Yeah.
Motivated? I love it. Who here has made their avatar? Boom. You even got a picture and everything. Look at that. That's awesome, man. I love it. I love it.
I told you I would, so I did.
Yeah, it's amazing. Can you do you mind sharing your avatar, like just what their deal is? You don't have to go
Um,
word for word, but like just or even whatever you're comfortable with sharing.
well, I kind of created them after what my wife and I have gone through and are going through, with our situation, and just tired and overwhelmed, lots of things going on, just ready to get out of it, and just don't know where to turn and look for help, and just yeah, just so it's just kind of somebody that's ready to move on and to higher things. So.
I love that. I love that, man. And when we're when we put ourselves in their situations, or even a lot of us have been in a lot of these people's situations, or something similar, maybe worse, they can you don't necessarily have to say what you're going through, what you did go through, or but they can feel it. I mean, sometimes it's appropriate to say something like that. Yeah, I was in a similar situation or whatever. But just knowing that you've been there, they can it comes across. You come across genuine, like you legitimate understand. You're not just saying the words, and so that's a powerful connecting, power. So I think that's awesome. I love it. I love it that you're. That's amazing. Cool.
Yeah.
Who else made their avatar? Or who wasn't on yesterday doesn't know what that means. We've talked about it a couple times. I
I
posted.
was
So
not on yesterday. Yeah,
what was that, Bryce?
I was not on yesterday. I remember you speaking briefly about it, but if you can uh, update me again, sorry.
Your microphone's not working, Jared.
My mic's not working.
Oh,
No,
now it is.
yeah,
You were mute for a second.
Oh, that's
yeah.
I think it was switching back and forth for my good mic and the computer crappy mic. But I'm good now, though, right? You can hear me okay?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so I posted in the comments like this morning. So if you haven't seen it, recently that That's probably why. But the step by steps on how to create the avatar, things you want to consider. So who can come up and explain to Bryce and people that wasn't here yesterday, what's avatar and why would we even care about something like this? Why does that matter too? That's, so whoever's willing to.
I can share. I think,
Yeah.
from what I understand and from what I've done there's creating a reason why you're doing all this is the really important thing of creating like who you need to find, and being able to find that one person gives you the purpose instead of just going out there and making calls, because that really sucks when you just are doing it just for the fun of it. But if you actually have a person that you're looking to help, and finding them, have their situation and what are you trying to help them with, and creating, a person, and even, creating the picture of them, trying to find that one person gives you a lot more power and motivation to actually go do those things, and it helps you to be able to, you know, get over the hurdles and get over the fear of actually doing what you need to find them. You're on mute again.
Thanks. Does anybody have any other comments on avatars and why do you think it might be helpful? I wish Sandy was on here, but she's not.
I haven't done mine, but I think it's another way to get the connection, a personal connection. If you can see it as the person on the other side as a real person, somebody you might know or that you can connect with, makes it more real.
Right. No, I love that. And here's the thing, like I can give you all the tips and tricks, the right scripts, but if you can't get over the hump of making those phone calls, of reaching out, making that first connection, you can learn everything. You can watch every single video, have a billion coaches. But if you can't get over that personal hurdle of like of just connecting people, then you're wasting your time at that point, right? So the avatar is a good way to kind of bypass that fear of rejection, and give you, like Nate says, give you that purpose, give you the reason, and then give you the ability to connect, like Daniel said. So it's a really powerful technique that you should, not only just in real estate, whatever if you're in any other business or whatnot, or depending what you got going on, like what's your ideal avatar? What's the person that you want to do business with? You can make an avatar for your money partner. If you're like wholesaling, we don't necessarily need money partners, but if you want to get into, maybe like for me, like I don't do a bunch of flips, only a couple a year, but the ones I do, they're amazing. And when I do want to pull the trigger, I want to make sure I have the money lined up for it too, so I don't have to use my own. So I think it's very powerful to create your avatar, guys, and it gives it different meaning. It's so powerful, because cold calling, knocking on doors can suck if you have the wrong mindset. Like it will suck, better said, if you have the wrong mindset, like 100%. And you'll do it for about maybe 3 calls, and you're like, I'm done. I'm not doing anymore. You might do it for 1 session, however long you committed, and then you're always going to find some other reason not to make that phone call, some other reason not to knock on that door, because of the fear, and it's getting past that point. But if it's like, okay, I'm going to talk to what's your name? What's your avatar's name? Did you give him a name?
I gave him a name. I can't remember. Matthew something.
Okay.
I can't remember. His name is Matthew.
Okay, Matthew. So Matthew, and come up with it when you're writing out your description too, or when we get printed or whatever. Put it the last name too, because then it becomes more real. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you're talking to Matthew Smith or whatever, or when you have that vision, like before you make phone calls, like visualize that person and not to get spiritual or religious, whatever, they're on their knees praying for you right now, whether that's literally or like through their soul and heart, like in their pain. They're hoping that someone's going to come and help them out of the situation. And they don't know where to go. They feel stuck. They feel trapped. They feel everyone's attacking them, that everyone is out to get them. Everyone's pointing out how much of a failure they are. And they are begging for Nate to call. Matthew's begging for Nate to call in Aubrey. You know, you want to have that kind of connection of what their challenges are, what they want to get out of it. Like they're just happy to, you can take over my mortgage, just give me a couple thousand, I'm out of here. Like that people will pay equity for peace of mind 100, like all the time. If means I give up the equity of the house, but I don't have a foreclosure in my record, I don't have all these people pounding on me, I have money to go on and get my apartment, I can actually start rebuilding my life again. You know, people will happily pay equity for that peace of mind, because on the other side of the coin, if they lose the house, they lose everything. They still have to do all the stuff they would have done if they sold the house, but they don't have the money in hand, and they have worse credit because the foreclosure went through their credit. So that's going to affect them for the next like 7 to 10 years. So it's really important to kind of put in mind what that avatar is, their situation, as detailed as you possibly can. And like Nate did. Nate, did you create that image just through an AI, or was it like a Google search and you just picked that one, or how did you do it?
It was an AI.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I just created an AI and I just typed in like tired homeowner, and that's
Perfect.
what I found that popped up.
Awesome. So you can jump in a gazillion AI image models. I mean, ChatGPT has the DALL-E one, which is like, just jump in there. I think it's in the free version, isn't it? Maybe. I don't know. Even if it's not, like, you can just put in your description of your avatar, create the description, put it in there, and the whole story, everything. Like copy paste, throw it in there, and like, I need an image of this person, a realistic image of this person, highly detailed. And even still, then if you're not familiar with AI and creating images, all that stuff, that's fine. Just Google search man in his mid 40s, distressed, description, blah blah blah, enter, and then just print one of those pages or print one of those pictures. And the amazing thing about this, and I know we kind of went in on nauseum yesterday about this, but I think it's really important for action taking. It turns every no, the rejections, it softens the no's, it softens the rejections. Because if you have that mindset, like, okay, cool, yeah, I'm closer to talking to Matthew. I'm one call next to talking to Matthew. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna keep on going until I talk to that seller. Sorry, find Matthew. And Matthew might be a Sally that's in her 20s instead of her mid 40s or whatever it is, right? And that's okay. Like, perfect, awesome. I found my version of the Matthew. Sweet.
Yeah.
But you'll be surprised on the characteristics that you're manifesting out there.
Yeah, and I picture him as somebody like my best friend, you know, somebody that I can actually talk to and that will listen and that will pay attention. So it's just like calling up your best friend. It's like, you know, you don't
Right.
think twice about calling up your best friend and talking to, you know, your spouse or your best friend or somebody else, you know. So it's just like,
Yeah.
I picture him as somebody that, hey, I can just have an open conversation and we can just talk as friends, and you know, it's not going to be, you know, this fight, or he's not going to have his guard up and stuff like that. So that's somebody that's like, oh, I can do that. I can call him. I can find him. Like,
Yeah.
if he's just going to talk to me like my best friend, you know, that's not
It's
hard.
Matt. I can talk to Matt. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the cool thing, let's just say that so in real life, you're your best friend and you lost his number, and you have three numbers and one of them is definitely Matthew's, but you're not sure which one. And you call, okay, I know one of these numbers. I'm just gonna call all three until I talk to Matt. You call the first one, and it's not them, it's not Matt, and someone's maybe a little mean or just rejecting, and like, okay, oh, sorry, my bad, wrong number. You don't know Matt, do you? No? Okay, cool. And then does that phase you if that's a wrong number, if it wasn't the right person that you were looking for? Not even a little, right? Because you're calling I like how you put that. Like you're calling your best friend. You're calling Matt. Awesome. Next number. It wasn't Matt. It was some lady. She was really rude.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I know this next one's gonna be. I'm like, I know I am there. I'm gonna talk to Matt right now. So I call and I talk to Matt. Like, oh, Matt, ugh, that time I'm calling everyone trying to find you. you know, and Matt may be a Bertha, but that's okay, right? I like that a lot. I like that analogy you put there, Nate. That's cool. I like that. So thinking of it like that, because it's in the same paradox, or not paradox, but if you have a list of numbers that you didn't know which one was your best friend, you wouldn't care if there was a wrong number. You just keep on going. And someone that rejects, if you can't get anything out of them, like you can't get a referral, they don't want to come to a renounced event to check out the education or anything like that. Okay, cool, awesome, no worries. Yeah, because I know it's the wrong number anyways.
Jared,
Yes.
that reminds me, like sometimes where I don't know how to pronounce the name from the people that comes up and Mojo,
Yeah.
I just ask for somebody else. And they're
Sure.
like, no, you get the wrong number. And I was like, oh, by the way, you know, like I was just looking for this person because I'm trying to buy a property over there. And they're like, do you own any? And then sometimes I ask them, oh, what's your name? You know, so them I know how to pronounce the name. So
Exactly. No, that's great. And I'll tell you what, guys, I am like ADH brain, which you guys have probably noticed. Dyslexic. I mean, thank God for spell check. But like I'm reading someone's name and I'll just mix up the letters and just totally butcher their name, but I don't care, whatever, it's fine. You know, like it doesn't matter. Like you're gonna get to you're gonna talk to that Matthew eventually, right? So even if you mess things up, and it's not a matter of if, but so if this ADHD dyslexic, which you guys ever tried to spell dyslexia, that is like a cruel punishment for anyone that has it. I'm telling you right now, it's ridiculous. Don't ask me to try to spell it, I couldn't spell it. But still, regardless, my point being, right? So it's like it's crazy, right? But yeah, that's cool. I love this. I'm glad, Nate. I really am grateful that you were able to make your avatar. And guys, this is the games is action based. So whatever we need to do to make it so you guys are taking action, whatever that may be. I mean, I'm about it, right? I know Maylee did mention that she and I like this idea. And let's talk about it. Maybe we can do something like this because I feel like there's a lot of missing pieces people aren't doing. And again, not to put anyone in a blast or anything like that. I can relate. I get it. Okay, well, this is a judgment-free zone. I mean, I'll judge Nate, but everyone else is judgment-free zone. Okay. And Aubrey, because she married him, she chose him, so I don't know, but you know, whatever.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. We love Nate. We love Nate. I'm teasing. Anyways, but the point I'm like asking is like, or trying to get to is what can we do to make it so we are taking the action steps? Like, are we generally doing the sacred time? And whether you want to say it out loud or not, like that's fine. But like, are we actually doing the sacred time?
in my case is like I would like to have like a set schedule, like
Yeah.
let's say like from 7 to 8 every night,
Mm-hmm.
or but so many things gets in the way that for
Yeah.
right now I'm doing like noon to 1, and then so the hard part is to start doing it, right? Start
Yes.
making the calls. Once I start making the calls, it's like I don't feel the time anymore. At the beginning, yeah, it was hard. But at this point, once I start making calls, I just keep going because I'm really like number orientated. So I like to see the data. I like to see how many calls. For example, yesterday I was 55 minutes and I believe I made 78 or 87, can't remember.
Great.
So dials, and I got in contact with 8. I talked to 8 people. And I'm looking at those numbers. I'm always trying to beat my previous one, so that kind of helps me have that mentality.
Yeah.
But yes, the hard part is to start doing it.
Right. So do you have a sacred time blocked off, or you don't, or you kind of have a general idea when you want to do things like that?
I kind of want to do it like after this call once, and then my nighttime.
Okay. So
But
so 1, or I guess it'd be like, you know, sometimes a little long. So 12:15 to
usually
1?
1 to 2, and then I try
2.
to do like 7 or 6 to whatever time my kids
Okay.
start bugging me.
Okay. Do I have permission to will you give me permission to drill down a little bit and try to help you in front of okay, this because everyone has the same challenge. So, but I'm going to talk to you specifically, okay, Carla. So
Okay.
from 1 to 2, that's kind of like and what was the time of the evening?
In the evening, it could be either 6. So that's what I'm saying. I don't have like a set time.
Okay.
If I can, I start at 6. Otherwise, I kind of start at 7.
6
like
or
cooking.
7. So why is it hard to set a specific time?
Sometimes because I'm still cooking.
Still cooking?
Yeah, so it just depends. So I have other meetings for other business.
Okay. Are those meetings like set every time, or is it
No,
like
random.
just happens?
Yes.
Okay. So with the challenges, like I can tell you why you're not able to do it consistently, because it's not sacred to you.
Right. Yes.
If I mean, whether religious or not, like think about this, right? So I mean, a lot of us are LDS here, and if someone's going to spray paint the temple, it doesn't matter what's going on in your agenda. You're gonna go out and try to stop her, to call. You're gonna take some sort of action to stop it, or even it's like not LDS, or you have something sacred, like anything that may be, I don't know, an old picture of your grandpa that you can't be replaced. You're not gonna let your kid draw on all over it, right?
Right.
You're going to do what you can to keep it sacred, to keep it safe. And if you're allowing the other business or other things, other appointments or whatever to kind of jump in, like, hey, can we jump on a call at 6 o'clock? I'm already booked out at 6. I can't. Can we do it at 7? Can we do it at 5:30? You know what I mean? Because if it's truly sacred to you, and the thing is, the longer we do this, the more people will respect it. At first, people won't respect it at all, including your kids and spouse. They won't. They're not. They don't get it. They don't understand it. The only way they will understand it if you are consistent at it and that you're going to hold it as sacred time. Like there's just nothing that's going to come apart from this to becoming. Now, maybe 2 hours a day is just too much for Pacific sacred time. Okay. Drill it back to 30 minutes, but then still try to hit that hour. Like, so you have some flux time, but like definitely at 6:30 to whatever it is, so you can actually do it, right? 6:30 to 7, like that is 100% sacred, no matter whatever happens. And if it's like you're still making dinner or whatever the case may be, like, okay, what could you do to make sure that the dinner's all said and done by that time, so you can start your sacred time, whatever that time you choose to be. Like, you have to remember, guys, that there are different versions of you throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month. There is a motivated Daniel. There's a motivated Claudia. There's a motivated Anna. Like when we're ready, we're motivated, ready to go. Like I use this example in the trainings, but like if the New Year's, I'm gonna go back to the gym. I'm gonna get ready to go, right? Then what happens? Like I'm genuinely motivated. I really want to hit those goals. But 5 o'clock in the morning hits. I wake up. Where was that motivation? What happened to it? I was legit. I'm gonna do this. But at 5 in the morning, I'm a different Jared. Somehow that snooze button looks really sexy. And going to the gym or making those goals don't seem as important. Right?
Yes.
So we all have different personalities throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month. It's just a human thing. When the hungry Jared, don't mess with him. Okay, you just gotta give me Snickers, and then we have a conversation after, I guess. Because I have a different state. So you all know each other's weaknesses, and you all. So I mean, everyone here has been around, has been themselves for the past 18 plus years. Most of us are in like their 40s and 30s, whatever. That's fine, but the majority of us have been around a long time, and we've been around with ourselves the entire time. Couldn't we just think for a minute and figure out what my lazy Jared's going to do at 5 in the morning to stop me from doing that? When I'm about to make phone calls and things are going on, I know what I'm gonna distract myself with, or what I'm gonna justify it with. I already know. if you really think about it and be honest with yourself, you know it too. I know when I sit down at my desk, if I don't have my notes out, or if I don't have a drink or something, I'm like, oh, I got to go do that thing and come back or clean the desk, whatever it is. Like, you guys know that's going to happen, whatever that is for you. So you have to think to yourself, like, what is it that I can do to set myself up to the best way? So like using the Jared analogy, as far as like the lazy Jared and wants to go to the gym, maybe I can sleep in my gym clothes. So as soon as I wake up, like I don't have to stress. Removing as many bars as you possibly can from lowering the barrier to entry to actually do your goal. Maybe I'm gonna have my shoes next to the bed. So as soon as I just get out, like my feet are like right there for my shoes, already have my socks on or socks on the side or whatever. Maybe my alarm clock's across my room, so I have to get up and actually turn it off, otherwise it won't shut off. And I have a glass of water and powder, a pre-workout all ready to go. So like the second I wake up, all of the things you can set yourself up for. And the same with like the sacred time. Like if I know that I'm gonna have to eat dinner, and maybe once in a while I like to really get some really lavish meal or whatever, but I still have sacred time that day. What could you do prior to that to set things up? What could you pre-cook? What could you get all the ingredients, put it together? So all you got to do, you don't have to hunting through the kitchen and grabbing whatever you're looking for. Everything's all together, pans are ready. You can just turn a 45-minute cooking session into 20 minutes, which is the cooking time or whatever. You know what I mean? So Carla, back to you. What do you think you could do? Right? Okay, so let's go back to the 1 to 2 first, then we'll go back up to the 6 o'clock time.
Okay.
Are you consistently like from 1 to 2? Is that
the one from 2 is consistent. What I have challenge
okay.
is on the nighttime.
Got it. Okay, then let's. So well, actually, let me ask you this: what makes the 1 to 2 not a challenge? Like, why is that easy for you to do?
Let me see. Because at that period of time, there's not much going on in life, technically.
Okay.
But in the afternoon is like when I cook. So I probably, as soon as I finish, like my 1 to 2, well, I need to go pick up my son after that.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe to start cooking as soon as like I come back, or like find meals that will take me less time, like you mentioned.
Right.
Yeah.
So the 1 to 2 is not so much of a challenge because
No.
there's less distractions, less people calling for your time. I love it. But as far as like business meetings, like I mean, and if meal times becoming a consistent problem, then maybe just push it back to 7 as well. You
Okay.
said you start to 6 or 7, right? Kind of depending on if you can make it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you push it back to 7, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's the right option or not. I mean, I'm just kind of thinking out loud with you, hopefully. And also, what other things would you find yourself getting distracted with, or where it's not as a high priority for you? What other things are chiming in during that time from 6 to 7?
That's pretty much it. It will be the 2 reasons that I encounter.
So business meetings, and getting the meals ready, right?
Yes.
Whatever it may be. So what could you do? So like you said, you gave a couple ideas, but what was something that Carla will do? Because we all have good ideas, and you're amazing. You can do anything. But what is something that Carla would do to make that work? That's realistic.
You know what? It's good to speak it out loud and have somebody else respect it, because as you were talking, and when you say, it's not your secret time, them, that's where you fell in on this. It's like, damn it is true, Sometimes
Right.
you just need to hear it for somebody else. Because, for example, I don't schedule anything since we started the challenge. I usually don't schedule anything between 11 to 12 because I know I have the call, right?
Right.
So that came to my mind, like, and I said, yeah, I should pretend I have a call this time. So
That's perfect. That's a great.
yeah,
The same scenario, right? If I called, hey Carla, I have an appointment with the seller. Can we chat at 11:30? You're like, well, can we do it at 12:30 instead, right? That's
right.
That's the reaction you would have, right? And yeah, I love that. So, and by the way, I do appreciate, like, we've been consistently, I went from 25 to 30 people at a time on here. So I do appreciate people that are pretty consistent coming on it, and that's cool. That's awesome. I love that. I love that. But we just need to turn that on to more action based, more MMAs, money making activities, right? That's going to be the biggest thing for everyone is getting MMAs done, and you'll do that consistently if you create sacred time. So what other things are kind of holding you back? Is it just those that are kind of getting distraction in the way, or other? So let's say we solve those problems where there's no appointments now because you're treating like a call, and you got the meal thing figured out, whether you're prepping before or faster meals or whatever that may be. What other things that if you're willing to share, that will distract you from doing the sacred time?
I don't think at this point there's nothing else that distract me, but I do feel that I'm not doing enough MMAs, in order. So I call Yordi. I think he's on the line. So yesterday, and we had a really good conversation because now we're gonna go reenacting on Thursdays. So I didn't want to do it by myself. He didn't want to do it by himself. So we kind of got in an agreement to go on Thursdays because he has the time and I have the time. So that was good. So that's something I like about calling different people and the challenge, because you never know exactly what outcome will come from
Totally.
call, right?
Absolutely. And now when you're sitting at home, do you have an office in your house that you make the outreaches, or is it in your bedroom, or where are you at?
Well, I have like my office space inside my bedroom.
Okay, cool. So you have a space, and then because you have your 11-year-old, your older one, is they living at home? No, like
Yeah, he does.
Okay. I guess the older one probably, anything like my older one, like doesn't like.
Yeah,
I don't see him anymore. But what other than when it comes to clog my bathroom? But other than that, what will the 11-year-old son, son?
Yeah.
Son. Okay, sorry. Okay. Does is there anything that he would barge in and start trying to talk to mom, or has he learned like, well, she's in business, don't mess with her? What's that like?
So it's interesting because this is what I was talking to Anna yesterday, and I was telling her, like my son for the most part is good at it. Like I'd be like telling him, because he comes and he's things like he needs to watch movies with me, or like for me to do some snacks or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But let's say like I tell him like, oh, give me an hour, right? But then you never know how long your call is gonna take.
Yeah.
And then the hour comes and I'm still not done with the goal. And then when he starts bugging me. Like, Mom, but you said like at 8 you were gonna be done, or 8:30 you were gonna be done. So he wouldn't leave me alone because I already said a time frame.
You said an hour? Well, come on, Mom, you said it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that.
So sometimes that's a challenge.
What if this, and I was talking to Nate and Aubrey on text, and I mentioned this. I was going to some classes, and it was funny. So I was going to some relationship classes, and it was I'm LDS, and so I was going to this relationship class that they had, and in it was like kind of like just blew me away. It literally said sacred time, make sacred time with your spouse, and I was like, and it gave like and it literally just like kind of described how what I preach about sacred time on doing the business, but it talked about your relationships in that time, and I was like, I teach this, like what this is about. This is like, it just blew me away. But another thing you can do, right? If because your son, he needs you, he needs mom time, he needs like that connection, he needs dad time, he needs that is something that and as as he grows, his need or slash want for that is gonna be diminished.
Yes.
But maybe if it's like, if we know that sometimes, and that's a good thing, that's a good problem to have. If you're on a call with the seller and it's going long, that's a great problem to have. But if it does kind of happen consistent, or another strategy is like, because you can negotiate with the people in your household. If you're having a hard time with them, like barging in, or you can negotiate with them. So I like you said, give me an hour, and then we can go watch a movie together. But what if you created a sacred time for mama and hijo? You know, like whatever, you just create a sacred time just for you guys, and maybe you're bringing her, you know, the spouse in or whatever you guys want to do. Right? You create the sacred time, and then where it's enough time where if a call does go long, it's not going to overlap. And it's
Okay.
like every night at 8 o'clock, we're gonna sit down and we're gonna watch a movie series and so we're gonna watch it for an hour or whatever. And or, I don't know, whatever. I'm just kind of thinking more out loud than anything else. You can create the sacred time with the people that need your time, so they feel special. And it's not about quantity but quality, because the life balance, the work life balance, and I think that's a complete garbage, because you're not there's it's I don't think it's possible to be truly life balanced. Even if you're working a 40-hour job, there's still other responsibilities you have other than just that. You know, you obviously want to be with your family, and you still need time for yourself, and so there's not necessarily a balance, but you can balance off as the quality of time you spend with them. So if it's something like as simple as even as like 30 minutes or whatever it is, right? And it could be more than that. Like every day, if I made sacred time with Jasmine, my daughter, for example, every day she knows from 3:30 to 4, it's just daddy Jasmine time. And so even though it's only like 30 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever it could be, like that's our time. And even if you call it sacred time, this is my daddy daughter time. This is our sacred time. No one's gonna step on it. Dad's not gonna set any appointments on it, nothing like that. And they're gonna love that, and then they're gonna respect more your sacred time for your work, because oh, I get it. That's like daddy daughter time. So I get that. That's job. So it'd be easier for them to kind of wrap their heads around it too, especially if you have depending on the ages, right? Obviously. But that's just a thought. Like you can put it for your relationship individually, whether that's couples, whether that's kids, one-on-one time, and it can be 10 minutes. But it's like phones are off and everything, and you're with them. That'll create a bigger impact than when I can let's go sit down and watch a movie or whatever it is. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It's not about time. It's not about the amount of time. It's about quality of time. And that's what makes that's what people remember. That's what kids remember. And that's what I remember as a kid when my dad did spend quality time with me versus the amount of time he spent with me. And I have a great relationship with my dad, just an example. Not saying that you necessarily need that or not, but I'm saying like that's a good way to kind of help them wrap it around. And it's going to take time for everyone to understand the sacred times, right? So that could be a potential solution. And negotiate with your family, guys. Like if like I've been picking on Nate all day, but like Nate's doing sacred time, negotiate with Aubrey. Like, okay, listen, from 4 to 5, I'm making phone calls. Can you watch the kids? And then when I'm done, I'll watch the kids so you can have your own moment of peace, or whatever it is, or I'll put the kids to sleep tonight, or whatever it is. Like you can have that negotiation what makes sense and fair for the people that are in your life. Like you have to like sit down and think, what will stop me from doing this? What will I do to stop me from doing this? What will other people stop me from doing this? And how can I make it where it's all the distraction, all of the barriers? Maybe it's like I always jump on Facebook and start scrolling because I get a notification or whatever. There's plenty of apps, things you can do to like turn off notifications. In another book, it's a really good book. It's called Micro Habits. No, Micro Habits. Is that right? Atomic Habits. That's right. Atomic Habits. Phenomenal book. And if you read it, like, oh, that's what I'm a lot of sacred times pulled from that book, guys. So I mean, I didn't create this necessarily, but the concept and principles is like that. So Micro Habits is really, really good. I totally forgot. Now that I used all my mental energy to remember the book's name, I don't remember my whole point I was trying to make. But the book goes over like anyways, read the book. I can't remember the point I was trying to make. Okay. What else, Carl? What can you do to make sure you're gonna hit that sacred time?
As we're speaking about this, I just think I need to start dinner earlier.
Yeah.
because his bedtime is 9. So sometimes if I do 8:30, we only have 30 minutes, right?
Yeah.
To watch TV. So I probably need to start like earlier, maybe 5. So that way if I take longer, it doesn't overlap with his time.
Right. Right. No, that makes perfect sense. I love that. I love that. What else are we? I mean, I know we're harping on this, but this, like, if you guys could just get this one piece into it, you're using Avatar to get rid of the fear, or to redirect, to give a different meaning to your actions of talking to the people, and then you're actually creating sacred time, and you keep it sacred. You're negotiating with people around you that would normally step on it. You're setting things up. If you're oh, sorry, that's what I was going with when I was talking before. Like, if one of the distractions are any distraction, you need to put as many barriers to entry as humanly possible. And what you want to accomplish, you need to remove as many barriers as humanly possible. So if one of my barriers, like one of my distraction point is like scrolling on TikTok or whatever, there's apps where you can kind of like turn it off for a certain period of time. So you can kind of do stuff like that. Another thing is, like, on your phones, I'm sure Android or excuse me, Apple might have something similar, but you can create folders on your phone, and I can create folder within a folder within a folder within a folder. So I can put my social media apps in a folder, and then create a folder in that folder and put them in there. And then, so in order for me to click on TikTok or Facebook or whatever it is, I got to do like 12, well, not 12, maybe that's the right number. I don't know. I got to go in like 6 different folders just to open up that app. Maybe just turn off all notifications at that point, from 5 to 7, all notifications, you're on do not disturb. And on contrast, like, everything that would normally stop you from doing something, remove any barrier that would possibly can come up with. Like, do a memory dump, or not memory dump, a writing dump of all of the things that would distract you, that would stop you, that you would stop yourself. And then after that, okay, cool. What can I do to prevent X, Y, and Z? Or what can I do to alleviate as much pressure as I possibly can, so you're more likely to actually take action? I love Sandra's idea she was talking about yesterday, where she, instead of just going home from work, she'll just go to the public library public library, and book a room, because they have individual rooms where you can just sign up and get it. Depending on which library it is, usually pretty easy to get, and might be able to even schedule ahead of time depending on how how that particular library does their systems. But you just get a room, and it's usually somewhat soundproof, so you can make phone calls on it. It has internet, you can plug in your laptop, and that way you're not in the same habit zone to get home. I got to talk to the spouse and do this and that, start cleaning, whatever it is. You're not in that zone, and so you're creating a new habit. So you're attaching it to, like, I'm gonna come home from work, and then that's what I'm doing. Versus, I'm gonna go straight to that office, and then I'm gonna do my sacred time. I'm gonna make the phone calls. I'm gonna reach out to those agents. I'm gonna do my MMAs right then and there. So there's no excuses.
Jared, no, for me,
Yes,
I've
Adam.
been struggling with that because I have 2 kids.
Yeah.
The older one, it's in a school, and I'm trying to do my calls, right? But the little one doesn't understand yet. Like, I have to
Right.
be calling, or while I'm calling his mom, mom. Oh no, and that's I want to say disgusting. That's stressful, and
Especially when you're on a phone call with the seller, and you hear
yeah,
this, mom, mom, mom,
and
mom.
he's a mama, and I say,
I
oh no.
My 8-year-old do
And
that to me too. So yeah, I get
I
it. Yeah.
know it's difficult. And then, so
Yep.
what I'm doing right now, it's getting up, wake up at 5, looking for the numbers, the names, and trying to put in my Excel sheet. And then 9, I start calling, And meantime, my baby is watching TV or doing other thing, and then I have to go back. I need another appointment with my clients, and then I have to go back and pick up my daughter from school, and then came back. She goes to ballet, and oh my gosh, that's so much. And I think I can do it because I can do it. And then I see my vision board, and I say, no, you can do this. You have to buy your house. You have to
Yes.
stop working. And well, and it's so I'm so tired, but I'm still talking with Carla, and she said, "No, you have to do this or do that," and I have a support there that she's saying, "Oh, you can do this," and I'm being talking to Bryce,
Hmm.
so we're having conversation there, and I also heard that he has kids and say that, and I say, oh, I'm
You're
not
like, I
the
know the
only
pain.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, but it's hard, but we can do this. We have that we have to do it. We have the tools. We have this. We have the community,
Hmm.
and what Carla said, it's good to say it loud, and that's the only way we can see other people has the same or the same situation that me or
Yeah.
whatever. And that's I think that's good. That's good to say it loud, to get support from others.
I love that. I love that. I love that I love that you're in order to do this, you're getting up early. So you can't make phone calls during that time, but you're doing the admin work that you would need to do so you
Mhm.
can do your MMAs.
Mhm.
You're getting that list. I love that so much. And you're from the sounds like you're choosing a time to do your sacred time when your youngest is more distracted, right? Where he's less kind of mom. You know, we know we all know our kids' routines, guys. We know our spouses' routines when they're going to be asking for our attention and whatnot. You know, we if we really sit down and think about it, we know what goes on in our lives every single day. So it's like, when's the time I can choose something, and when's the time I can't? Another thing too, but to get your kids on board, I have an not just because you did mention the vision board, which I highly recommend. I did a post a while ago of a recording the training I did for vision boards. I didn't make it a modular, but it's in there somewhere. But just do a search of vision board, and you'll see it there. But in addition to like having vision boards, having that and saying it out loud, I like how you said that, Anna. But there's another thing you could do is accomplish boards. So when dad closes X amount of deals or makes X amount this month or in a single month, whatever that goal is, all of the kids get to pick something that's up to like $1,000 or something like that, or maybe that's too much, but whatever that amount is, they get to pick it. And so I sat to my kids, okay, listen, when I reach at this level, I guys want you to look for something that is that you want that's under $1,000. And so like, right, a lot. I mean, or it could be $100, whatever. I'm just saying, whatever makes sense for the family, right? Because younger kids, $1,000, it's the same. Like, hey, $50, whatever. They may not even understand it, but like, pick something that's kind of out there, that I would normally say no to. And so they printed a picture of it, what it was, and then we put it on just like we would do like a vision board, but it's in somewhere central where the whole family can see it. And so it's not only it turns it we're changing the meaning. That's how you get things done. You're changing the meaning of what you're doing. Like my daughter has a snake. My 15-year-old wants a snake. Um, that's on the accomplished board. And so, like when I hit this certain goal, she's gonna get snake, which I would normally say no, because I don't have nothing against snakes, but I just didn't
No,
want a
because
snake.
it's a good idea. I do it because she needs to the older one, she needs to read 18 books by month. So when she
Mm,
reached the 18 books, she got a reward, right?
love it.
So
I love that.
yeah, so
Same
that's
concept,
that's
right?
the
But
thing. Yeah. So I'm
I,
doing it, But the little one, the older one, I don't have problem with her. That's why I wanted to have another kid. But the little one, oh my gosh, that's
Right.
no, he's
Well, and here's
so
the thing.
naughty.
So with little ones, here's some other tips, okay, or ideas, and it may or may not work for you guys, but it's really going to depend on how consistent you're willing to be on this, if it's going to work or not. So here's an idea. You get them involved in this. So it's like, okay, listen, mommy has sacred time, mommy has work time from next little while. When mommy, and you can even do, I actually got this from Maylee, but like you can have like a hat or something like this. So when a visual cue that they can see and understand, oh, that's daddy's working. Don't talk to dad. And maybe that's when daddy's in this room, or when daddy's in his desk over here, or when, something like that. Do something where you can easily, a visual cue that they can see and understand that you're doing your business and not to mess with mommy. Okay. And so it's like, and in addition to having those cues, another thing you can do is like, okay, cool. Here's just do a chart, like a calendar chart or whatever. And every time that your kid lets you, when you're done with the sacred time, like, you did so good, you didn't bother me at all. You did, praise them for what they did. And like, let's put an X on this chart, on this calendar. And great, let's go to the store and get you a $2 prize or something, some sort of reward or whatever that is. I don't know. Now you can get an extra 30 minutes of screen time. I don't know, whatever makes sense for you and your kids. And so you're giving the reward for just leaving you alone. I mean, effectively during that time. And maybe that reward thing works or doesn't work, but even if you're just doing like the visual cue, like, okay, when dad has his hat on or mom leaves his hat on, don't talk to dad. So like, you at first it's like doesn't even exist. Like, okay, sure, yeah, whatever, dad. But the more consistent you are, that's the part where people fail. Oh, I tried the hat thing, but it didn't work. But if like you're on the phone and you're trying to talk or doing something, they come in like, you point the visual cue, and if you can say something like, I need whatever it is, unless it's an emergency, talk to me in 15 minutes. If you have 15 minutes left or 10 minutes, I got 10 more minutes of sacred time, but talk to me in 15 minutes, and then like point to your hat, reminding them.
Hey, Jared, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Okay. In my neighborhood, I saw property empty, means the guy dies. So now I'm looking for information. Well, how can I know if the city or the government owns the property, to see if we can buy it?
Yes. So, who knows the answer to that? How do we know who owns the property? What's the easy way to check? Who knows the answer to that?
Can you look in the assessors, the website for the assessors, the county assessor?
Yep.
Sorry,
Exactly.
what? Say it again. The county what?
County assessors. The easiest way that I find is just do a Google search and do parcel lookup in X city or X county. It doesn't matter to get the same results. Parcel lookup, and you can do assessor's website in X county.
Great.
And then they'll have a spot in there, right, where you can put in the address, and it'll tell you who owns it, who currently is on title. And if it's of the deceased, well, that's the great thing about Family Tree Now. You can go on Family Tree Now and see who's related to them, and then with their phone numbers, which is awesome, and then have a call.
I look at one of the websites,
Mhm.
and it seems like no one owns the property.
Okay. Well, hey, so guys, are we good? Are we good on just moving on? I know we went in tandem at sacred time. It's important, but I do want to check. You guys want to check out this? Should we look it up real fast?
Yes, let's do it.
Is there sessence? What's the word? Let me hear. Because I like this. I like dealing with things like this versus. But you guys get the sacred. As I'm pulling this up, what other questions do you guys have or thoughts on like Sacred Time and getting things kind of squared away, right? Like if you're doing the queue, as long as you're consistent at it, at first they're gonna act like it's normal because that's what they're used to. But eventually, if you are true to the Sacred Time, they'll catch on. Okay, what county is it in? Or what city? Martha?
In Salt Lake City, downtown area.
Okay, so Salt Lake City, parcel lookup, right? So parcel lookup. Now you want to look at .gov websites. Those are the ones you want. So if you get other ones, you know, I mean, just they're probably going to charge something or whatever, right? So assessors parcel viewer is more of like a map. So you want to see, like, you don't remember the address, but you want to see who owns next, like what the address is next to him, who's the owner. That's pretty good. But if you just have an address, you want to see that particular information, then assessors, just like was it Daniel who said that? Or who brought that up?
Yeah, it was me.
Okay, yeah, it was Daniel that said so. Assessors, whatever that county is, right? So let's go into assessors Salt Lake City, and then what do we got here? So right away, owners. So you can just look up the owner's name if you have that, or which is a great tool if you're like, does John Doe own more than this one property we're calling on? Find out. You know, what's the address, Martha?
Hold on.
And also in Deal Machine, if you guys get that, you can just put in the address and then find out because the phone number right then and there too, like automated skip tracing too with the owner's information. But this is free, so let's sign up for free. Yeah,
sometimes it's really hard to know who's the owner of that property because it depends on the county. With Salt Lake and Weaver, it's really easy to find it. But for example, Tuella, I try to find it.
Tuella's a nightmare.
Parcel lookup, and I couldn't find it.
Tuella does. This is my biggest. I live in Tuella, but so like I'm constantly seeing distressed properties, you know, because I'm here. Like I'm doing driving for dollars myself. I practice what I preach. So Tuella is the stupidest thing. So Tuella has this. I'm gonna vent for like 3 seconds. So bear with me. Tuella has this.
I'm ready.
Okay, give me it to me. Yeah, before I go on tangents. Yeah, let's do this.
It is 1272 Pacific Avenue in Salt Lake City.
Pacific Avenue in Salt Lake City. Look at that.
1272.
1272. Parcel. Look at that. Boom. Filled in for us. I love that. But Tuella, you can look up the information, but they either charge $700 a year to get access to it, like $70 a month, or $5 for 1 day use. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. That's like for Tuella County, use a third party. I mean, you can pull that information up with like Renatus iOS and Deal Machine, you know, a number of third party websites that can pull up for Tuella. It's ridiculous.
Also for Midvale, I think Midvale it's in the Salt Lake County, but whenever I try to find a owner in Midvale, it doesn't show up in the Salt Lake parcel lookup.
Interesting.
That's I don't know why.
So sometimes depending on how they have it put in there. So if I'm having an address, so for example, like the 1272 parcel, like it doesn't normally like fill in for us, so we did this time, but or Pacific. So like I'll just put in, if you're having a hard time, it's not pulling anything up, I'll just put in like 1272 West, and then it'll give me, hit enter, then it'll give me all the options of anything that's 1272 West. The challenge is sometimes if they have it as, if I type in 1272 WEST as in West, it may not register as 1272 West because if they have it under as 1272 W. So sometimes you got to play around with the address, and maybe Murray has funky way that they kind of put things in. So maybe play around a little bit. I don't know if that's going to be a solution or not, but that's something I would look at. But interesting. Okay, Martha, Michael Hartburn. Does that sound like the person that passed away? Is that, or you couldn't find it? You couldn't get this far Is that one of the challenges? I think you're on mute still.
Yeah, I guess that's the guy.
Okay, got it. So the question now is like, how do you contact this person, right? Or how do we find out? So he passed away. So it's still in his name. So it hasn't gone to auction, or they haven't finished the probate scenario, potentially. They may have actually already gone through probate, but they haven't actually changed the title, because they would have to go, okay, we have the court documents, the probate, that me as executor will can change the name of the title over to any name I want. If they don't actually go and actually do that, then it doesn't change. It doesn't change automatically. They actually have to do something. But they have the paperwork to do it in a drop of a hat. So Michael Bernhardt, let's take a look here. Let's go to Family Tree now. Now.com. So Michael oopsie. Is it Bernhardt, right? Barnhart, okay. And it's in the just Salt Lake City, right? Yeah, just Salt Lake.
Seems interesting property because it's nobody lives there, and then the raccoons are destroying the property already.
My goodness. So it's been vacant for a minute then, sounds like.
It's been there for a while.
Here it is. This is probably the right Michael, because we have 72 age, and then so that's the address that we're looking at. All right. So associated names, emails. It's not pulling up. It just has associated people, so it's not telling us exactly who Michael Edwin Bernhardt as the relatives are. But if we click on the address itself, or even go back to search, and you can search, you actually just put in the address if you want, and it'll pull this up. But either it'll get you to the same point. So 12, so I'm going to click on it. It'll give me some information. So it gives other people that are associated with that address, and we just have to.
Oh, what I hear is,
oh, this is a son.
It was a single man, or no relatives, is what I hear.
Well, we have Michael. We have a Michael was born in 1952, and then 25 years later, we have a Michael was born in 1977, which makes me think that sounds like a son to me.
It must be.
And is associated with this address. Oh, and by the way, Victoria's Secret's having a sale, I guess. Yeah, I think so. If Martha, I think the best bet would be to contact Michael. Let's take a look at Michael's. Michael Jr. Does he have? He doesn't have
phone numbers.
That address. Well, there are phone numbers, but I was looking about the address that he's associated with. Huh. This may or may not be. I don't know. It's a bit of a long shot, but I think Michael's probably the best.
So what you suggest to do is to keep investigating about that.
I would just call Michael. Call the Michael, potential Michael Jr. And then
if he's
Martha,
interested,
I just put in the chat this link to Michael Jr. so you can check it out. But so I would recommend just calling Michael R. Bernhardt, and see. It could just be not even remotely related. I mean, I don't know, but it's definitely possible. Had a kid 25 years later. That's good age having kids, especially during the 70s. or a good time to have kids. You know, that's pretty common. And then yeah, let's give them a call, see if we can get a hold of them.
Oh, could you give me that phone number?
Yes, I put in the chat the link to this page. So if you click in the chat, it'll get you right to the page, and you can just call. Has the emails, all that stuff. So it'd be easier for you to see it in the chat.
So what do you think about this property? Is that maybe be a good deal?
I don't know. Anything could be a good deal. Because so let me catch you on something, right? Because sometimes like, well, is this worth it to look in? Is this even gonna be a good deal or not? It's a distressed home. The odds of them wanting to get rid of it off their hands, whoever the actual heirs are high. Okay, so I think it's something to pursue. I wouldn't do any analysis on it. Remember, okay, you guys hear me preach this all the time, but like I'm gonna hit this home forever. Don't do any analysis on the deal. Just give the person a call and see if it's the right Michael, right? If it is the Michael's son, Michael Jr. And then and there's also the emails too if you want to send out an email blast.
Okay, thank you, Jarek.
Okay. Perfect.
Jared,
Yes.
can you give us an update on the deal for Grantsville? What happened to the deal?
For Grantsville?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like, I think it was one of the first ones. Can't remember who got it. That they had like a 90,000.
Oh no, that's in Murray.
Oh, Murray. Okay.
That's in Murray. So that's Creighton's deal. Creighton, you on here? No, they left. So I sent them the final agreement because we had some back and forth. Because basically what happened is that we were going to buy the property, hold on it until February 1st, and they were going to buy it back because the guy was going to come in with some money. This is a kind of an interesting scenario of this particular deal. They're about to lose the house, about to go to foreclosure, and it's the owner. The house is about to go to foreclosure. It's his second home, and his brother passed away, but his sister-in-law and nieces and nephew live there. The wife doesn't know they're going through foreclosure. The people that are living there don't know they're going through foreclosure, and so he's like sweating bullets. Like he's about to come into some money like in the middle of January, but that's past the auction date. So he's going to lose his home for sure if he doesn't come up with it. So we're going to buy the home from him, basically just a thousand or two above what he owes, and then he's going to buy it back from us he has the first right of refusal to buy the property back on February 1st. So, which is, I mean, if everything goes as planned, it's a freaking phenomenal deal. The challenge what we've happened the last little bit, once I got information back from the bank, he actually owes $30,000 more than what he thought. Because when you're going through foreclosure, they'll add fees and it's ridiculous. It's kind of crazy how much they'll throw in there. So they will add all that stuff in there. So we've had to go back and forth, and so far we should be good to close. The thing is with this deal though, I have to run it like right now we're going to make like $70,000 on February 1st if everything goes to plan. But should I just rely on that, guys? Like this is the deal I'm going to keep, right? Or even wholesale it, right? I'm not going to wholesale it. We're actually going to keep this one. But if we're going to wholesale this thing, what do you think the investors are going to ask? Like, well, what happens if it doesn't happen? Okay, great. So this deal can get really easy or a really big pain in the butt. So we would have to evict the people that are living there. And then once we evict them, then we do the repairs, which we're assuming is a complete gut job. We're going to put in close to $80,000, $90,000 in rehab. And after doing all those numbers and for the ARV, we're still going to make, because they're going to buy it back less than what the ARV price would be. So, but because the ARV is really, I mean, there's a ton of equity in this thing. That's the only savior. If we have to do the whole flip, it's going to take us 8 months because we're not going to be able to even start the eviction process until like after February or mid-February. And then once we get them out in a month or two, then we can start on the process. So it's going to be like an 8-month process, but we'll still make like 50,000 after the 8 months is all said and done. So we can either make 70 in 6 weeks or we're making 50 in 8 months. So I'm hoping for the 6 weeks, if you can imagine.
Would
Less
it be
time and
a
more
seller
money.
finance on that one again?
Subject
Are
to.
they keeping subject to? Okay, so
Yep.
like okay, they're keeping the same terms.
Right. And it's a crazy loan. It's like 11% interest. And he got it like long-term loan like that. Like 11% interest. Like no wonder you're going for foreclosure. I mean, it's great for like a fix and flip. Like that's good. That's a good rate. But when you're doing freaking gracious. When you're doing it, yeah, anyways. It's kind of crazy. But we'll hopefully by the end of today, because that's when the guys meet with his partner, and then we'll have everything kind of wrapped up, and then it's just you know, I'm looking for equity partners that will be come and play, but knowing that it could be a really easy deal, or you're going to get the money back in 6 weeks or 8 months,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So that's the challenge. It's a different one for sure. Okay, we're past 12 o'clock. Thanks, Martha, for sharing your. Oh, she have a mosquito. Well, thanks for, you know, it's good to kind of go over something like that too. Keep it on action base. I like that. Any other thoughts or questions we want to talk about? I know we talked a lot about sacred time, but again, if you guys can just get that right. And another point I want to add before we call it quits, even if you just make 3 calls and like, oh, I really want to make a lot more, but whatever, give yourself credit where credit's due. I mean, so like, I know I'm kind of harping like taking action, but did you do better than yesterday? You made 3 calls today. Yesterday you made 0. That's amazing. That's a 300% increase. That's amazing. So give yourself credit for, even if you don't feel like you're doing enough, which rarely feels that way, right? And even Carla did 80 plus calls dials in the hour. Like, oh, but I wanted to get closer to the 600 or whatever, but it is amazing. That's great. You know, if there's people that it takes them a month to dial that many numbers, and you did it in an hour. So even with or without a dialer, that's amazing, right? So give your guys credit where credit's due. That's the thing. Like, you got to motivate yourself to where you're going, and also reward all of the successes. Because if you punish yourself by saying, "Oh, I'm not good enough for taking action because it wasn't as much as you wanted," you're training your brain that, oh, if I do that, I'm just going to punish myself and feel bad. It's crazy, but that's exactly what it is. So
and the deal machine has the dial like 3 pounds, just like Mojo does.
I don't know. I don't think it has a 3. I don't think it dials 3 at once. I gotta play with it. And maybe we'll do some calls with it and just make sure it's worth it, right? But I really
I think that would be good, because if that's the case, I was looking at the prices yesterday.
Right. Yeah.
And if that's the case, I would just do this month with Mojo, and then I would like to swap to.
Yeah. And like I was saying yesterday, like you can do. There's 3 users. There's like the middle one. So it's like $100 or $120 for one user, and you get all this stuff, right? And then the middle package is like 170, but you get 3 user IDs. So you get 3 people can sign on. So if like Carla, Nate, and Anna wanted to use the same service, and you're just putting in $60 a month.
Yeah, that would be better.
Awesome. You know, I mean, why not? Because that's cheaper than Mojo if you're doing it that way too. Then you know, so and it's like, because it's 3 different sign-ons. I don't think it matters if you're all on at the same time or not, because you have your own sign-on. So if you're making phone calls, whatever, like Mojo that has that challenge, but that doesn't. So
yeah, I think if you could squeeze it into the schedule or the calendar and do some calls with
Mojo,
great.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a good idea. What are we doing tomorrow? I wonder, because we didn't even talk about what we're. But I mean, I have a general idea of what we want to talk about, but depending on how the conversation goes, where like I think we need to focus on this and whatnot. So let's.
Jared, does it really matter what we have planned, because it never goes that way?
Well, never. Well, okay, mostly doesn't go that way. Yeah. Once in a while, I hit the key points that we're talking about, but. Okay.
Yeah, for practice in there anyway, so I think that would actually go perfect if we're actually doing live offers. Yeah.
See, take that, Carl. Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't saying it's a bad thing. All I'm saying is the plan never occur the way you say it.
I wasn't saying that you were saying bad thing. I just wanted to just to poke at you.
I appreciate
I try
every
to punch
call
up
that I'm able to get on.
When I'm swinging, I try to punch up. So, you know, with you, that's all I got. That's my only option.
Oh, I'm bringing a ladder Saturday.
Oh, good, good. Finally look eye to eye to you. Fantastic. Can't wait. I love it. Cool. All right, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for your participation. Thanks, Carla, for being vulnerable and let us kind of pick at you a little bit. And guys, avatars, pick your second time, and then MMAs. Let's really focus on those. Let's talk to a fellow human being. Then that's how you make money.
Thank
All right,
you.
love it, guys.
Thank you.
See ya.